Greetings, hola, ¿cómo está? Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, Empress Oracle, your favorite, most honest, realest, sexiest spiritual advisor. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope this new year has been good to everybody thus far. You know, it seems as though January is gonna fly by just like 2022 did, and I'm not mad at that. But let's get started. On behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information has been given directly to me as a divine channel, and any use and or reproduction of this information without the proper acknowledgement or accreditation from where it came from will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and or individuals. And so it is. Now that we got that out the way, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Y'all. It's time for us to ascend quicker and further than we have in times of past. Okay? All right? It's time for all of us to be who the fuck we are. It's time for us to live in our truth. So, of course, today I'm going to talk about living in your truth, right? Because living in your truth seems to be so hard for so many people to do. Why? I don't know. I can't really tell you. I cannot really tell you, right? Because me personally, I can speak for times where I was unable to be my true self, not because I didn't want to, but like say for instance, when I was in the military and I couldn't be my true self, I was so unhappy. I was miserable. I made the best out of the situation, of course. I still held true to who I was on the inside, and I nurtured my true self. I watered myself, and I said, it's okay, baby girl. We'll be back soon. And I held true to who I truly was. I maintained my own set of standards, morals, and beliefs. But it was hard. Shit gets real, you know what I'm saying? When you got to be like everybody else, and that's not you, it gets hard. And I'm going to tell you right now, the first step to living in your truth is true peace and eternal happiness. I think I said that wrong, y'all. What I meant to say is, yes, living in your truth is the first step to true peace and eternal happiness, right? You have to bear with me if I pause and stuff like that. I was channeling directly, getting these messages from the divine and ancestors just to clarify this for you guys. So bear with me, the brethren. Thanks. Anywho, people who struggle with identity or sexuality or morality or other aspects of self-awareness, they tend to have a higher propensity towards depression and suicidal ideations. What that means is people who tend to struggle with knowing who they are, you know, they tend to be chameleons whenever they go around people. They don't really, you know, they don't know who they are. They go with the trends. They go with the fads. They have no true sense of self. If you were to ask them, well, what do you like, X, Y, and Z? If it's not what's popping on the hot 100 or whatever, they don't know. They can't tell you, right? Those people tend to be the ones who they put on whenever they're around people. They put on the show, the happiest people, the most outwardly expressive people whenever they get around people. A lot of times, those tend to be the ones who tend to be more suicidal and depressed on the inside, because a lot of times those people are not living in their truth. They're trying to be a people pleaser. They want everybody around them to be happy. And what you have to realize sometimes is you cannot be the source of everyone's happiness. Right? If you're not living in your truth, that means you're not truly happy. So how can you give the energy of positivity and happiness to someone else if you're not truly embodying that? You feel me? Okay. So their spirit is still in dis-ease, right? And that is what causes them to have a higher propensity towards being depressed, okay? And towards being suicidal. And a lot of times when you ask people like that why they are so depressed, a lot of times they'll tell you everything but the real reason, or they cannot necessarily pinpoint why they're really depressed. It may appear like they're depressed for no reason, but really, really deep down is because they're not living in their truth. They're not being who they really are. They're not doing what would really make them happy because they're trying to please society. They want to please their family. They don't want to let people down. They have expectations and standards they're supposed to live up to that people put on them, trying to live vicariously through them, or X, Y, and Z, or they followed a path that they thought was going to please them and edify them because maybe, you know, the path that they went and became a doctor knowing they don't even fucking like people like that, but it paid the most. And now they're unfulfilled and they're suffering with depression on the low because, you know, in the public, they have to put on a smile and they have to act a certain way. And that right there, whoo, that's how you die slowly from the inside and out, right? So while you're dying slowly from the inside, first you're going to have that depression. Then you're going to be thinking, oh, maybe I should take myself out. What am I doing here? I have no purpose here. I'm not making a benefit to anybody around me. I'm not being beneficial to anybody around me. Well, hun, you're not being beneficial to anybody around you because you're not being your true self. You're not living in your truth. You're not doing what you're really supposed to be doing here, which is doing you. Because somehow, some way, that sets you free. That could be an example for somebody else who may want to do them also. You have to take that into consideration, ladies and gentlemen. On a spiritual level now, many people are tested with learning, accepting, functioning, and also elevating in their truth, okay? Or their true self, their higher self, right? You're tested with these things. You're tested with learning who you really are, however that is, right? You're tested with accepting who you really are, because a lot of times for many people, who you really are does not really go along with society's ideals or the ideals or what everybody else around you is doing in your geographical location. You gonna let that stop you from doing you? It does a lot of people, right? So it's a test for them to learn who they are, to accept who they are, to function as their true self, in their true form, with pride, out loud, in the daytime, with the lights on. Do it with the lights on, goddammit, right? And elevating in their highest self. And that is in order for them to achieve soul growth and physical and spiritual abundance. In order for you to achieve what you truly feel like you deserve, you sitting there, you talking to God, your ancestors or whatever, you like, yo, for real, I deserve to be a billionaire. I deserve this, that. But why? But how? What are you doing? You're doing what everybody else is doing. What about the special gifts I gave you? That might be what God or your ancestors is asking you. What about the gifts I gave you that you only use at nighttime when you by yourself? When you're only singing in the shower, knowing good and well how beautiful your voice is, that it could move so many people and heal so many people if you put those songs out. That's for somebody. Right? You cannot be afraid to live in your truth, because when you live in your truth, yes, you're going to have a lot of haters come for you. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to come for you, try to tear you down. Half of those people, they just jealous. They're like, oh, the audacity of you, but that's because they have none. Right? But when you live in your truth, you're showing the universe that come what may, you are proud to be who you are. You are grateful for who you are. You accept who you are. You can function as yourself, and you functioning as yourself is an asset to the universe. You're adding to the universe. You're giving back. You're paying it forward by living in your truth and being yourself, because you are helping somebody else, whether you realize it or not. That's what a lot of people need to take into consideration. Many people are born into lifestyles or environments that are opposite of what aligns with their true self. Did you know that? Don't lie. Don't lie. You lied. Okay, so if you knew that, then you should also know that that is why we have these stereotypes that go on in geographical locations, in certain minorities and X, Y, and Z, to hold these people down, right? So people are born into those lifestyles, those environments, and they're used to that because the generations before them maybe lived that way as well. It doesn't matter if you grew up on collard greens, cornbread, and ham hocks. If you want to goddamn be pescatarian, if you want to go vegan, bitch. So what if every time Thanksgiving come around, your family members talking shit? You have options. You can A, don't go no more. Tell them shut the fuck up. Or tell them shut the fuck up and don't go anymore. You know what I mean? We have to start realizing that life, the truth, it hurts at first. But once you accept the truth, right? Once you learn it and once you function in the truth, it doesn't hurt anymore. It actually feels better. It makes you stronger. And it sets you free. It's time for everybody to live in their truth because there are so many other avenues that can be opened up for society as a whole if people just lived in their truth and did the talents that they were truly blessed with instead of worrying about what everybody else thinks. That would open up so many more avenues, so many more doors for success. Okay? That would blur those lines that society has put to delineate between who can and who can't. Because who are these people to tell you what you can and cannot do? They have no idea the gifts that you have. It's time to live in your truth. Right? So that test of you being in that environment that does not align with your truth, that is to say, okay, are you strong enough? Are you bold enough? Are you confident enough? Do you believe in yourself enough? Do you believe in your gifts enough? Do you have faith? And are you acting out of love? Are you acting out of pure intentions? Because as long as you are doing those things, trust you, me, and believe. Whether you believe in God, whatever you believe in, I'm going to say God because I'm a child of God. But I'm going to tell you, I was born into a lifestyle that did not align with my truth. I have always been around people, situations, and places that did not align with my truth or did not fully align with my truth. And I had to overcome that and realize that, and I had to live my truth anyway because I also had to deal with the depression. I also had to deal with the suicidal ideations at times, but I knew that that was not my truth. See, that's where that discernment comes in. Okay, you have to recognize when those feelings of depression try to creep in on you. Okay, when those feelings of suicide try to creep in on you, that is not your truth. That is not you. That is negative energy that is trying to stop you and block you from living in your truth. It is trying to suppress the truth that lives inside of you. And it's up to you once you recognize that. Okay, just like a video game, when you walk and then you see the little mountain or whatever the fuck you got to go over, you recognize like, hey, this is a hurdle I have to overcome. Depression is a hurdle you have to overcome. Suicidal ideations are hurdles that you have to overcome. I'm not saying that it's easy because the mind is a very, very powerful thing, but that is why you have to tell yourself that you being you, as long as it's bringing no harm to anybody else, it's not wrong. Even if it's not what everybody else around you is doing. If it's not harming anybody and it's edifying your soul and it's either teaching you or allowing you to teach someone else or have a new positive experience, it's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with it. You ignore those feelings. You walk over those hurdles, sis and or bro. That is because this lifetime, some challenges for people to overcome are fear, loss of familiar or familial structure. Okay, so that's loss of your family, people you consider family, or say let's say you're in a gang. That's a familial structure to some people, right? You consider them your kinfolk, your peoples, X, Y, and Z, right? It's in this lifetime you have to overcome the challenge of fear, the loss of those structures I just spoke about, and patterns which cause generational curses, toxic cycles, or unhealthy addictions that have followed you through lifetimes, as well as phobias. I'm going to tell you right now, something that I have discovered especially once you start learning about past lives, once you start experiencing some of your past lives, once you start learning about past life regression, X, Y, and Z, meditation, X, Y, and Z, one thing that I have realized is that for a lot of people, their phobias are pertaining to something that happened in a past life, either something that was a talent of theirs or something that what they were into, but it ended up being tragic, or they had some kind of mishap with it, okay? Or they may have died because of that. But a lot of times in this lifetime, you have to overcome that phobia because that same thing may be what may lead you into your success, right? You might be afraid of water, but you might be destined to be an Olympic swimmer. You get what I'm saying? Okay. As long as you get what I'm saying. A lot of people do not live in their truth because, and I just listed a few reasons because, really this conversation right here about living in your truth, this is something that I would not say would be just a one part thing to talk about. But I'm going to try to condense as much in it because I don't want to, fatigue you guys' mind. I just want to give you something to think about as you're learning your truth. But a lot of people do not live in their truth because, one, they don't spend time alone to figure out who they truly are. You'd be surprised how many people are scared to be alone. Why? Are you scared of yourself? Or are you scared of what yourself might say to you, what yourself might think, how yourself might feel when you're alone? Hey, if you don't want to be alone with yourself, what makes you think people want to be alone with you all the time? That's something you need to look at. Right? You need to ask yourself, why do I not want to be alone? And you need to be honest with yourself. Okay? Because when you spend time alone, that is when you take that time and instead of just sitting there staring at the walls or sitting there complaining and saying, I'm so lonely. No, bitch. That's not what you're supposed to be doing when you're spending time alone. When you spend the time alone, that's when you're supposed to sit there and rehash and be like, okay, well, where am I now in life? How do I feel? What are my plans? Am I happy? What do I like to do? What are my hobbies? Ask yourself these questions so that when somebody else asks you these questions, you don't look stupid. You don't feel stupid. So that when somebody else asks you, when you see other people who have developed themselves, when you see them doing things that you're saying, oh, I could do that, I wish I could do that, you're not sitting there looking dumb because you spent the time alone to try to figure out what you like. So yes, you can do that. Or no, you cannot do that. But if you cannot do that, you have figured out what you can do. I know that was like a tongue twister, but I know y'all feel me. Number 2, they are afraid to go within and heal past traumas that remove certain blockages. And that's the thing. I'm trying to tell y'all, fear will stop you from living life. Fear can kill you. Fear will freeze you. Fear will get you killed. Alrighty? All right? So when you're spending that time alone and you're like, okay, I'm fucked up. I'm in a fucked up situation, because you know when you're fucked up. Sometimes it takes some of us a little bit longer to realize. A lot of times people, it takes for everything around you to crumble for you to realize like, oh shit, I fucked up. But that's okay, because as long as you have breath in your body, brain functions, you'll live to see another day and you can fix it most of the time, right? So when you're spending that time alone, go within. Ask yourself those questions that I was talking about. If you sitting there, you wondering why every relationship you with, it always end up with the person putting their hands on you. When you spend that time alone, sit there and try to figure out, what is the root of that? What is the cause of that? Where is this stemming from? Why are you attracting those kind of people? What kind of triggers is it? Does it have something to do with something you grew up seeing at home? Did you grow up seeing your mom getting her ass beat? Did somebody tell you that, pain is love? You have to figure out these things, because right now we want healthy love. We want to live in our truth in a healthy way. So therefore we have to identify these triggers and these traumas, and we have to heal whether we want to or not. That is the only way that you can live in your truth. You can gloss it up. You can, on the surface, portray like you're living in your truth, but everything done in the dark, everything hidden, and everything unhealed always comes to the light eventually. So keep that in mind, y'all. And 3, they care too much about what other people think. And let me tell you, I put that as 3, but that should have been number 1. But I wanted to save it for dramatic effect because, yes, I am dramatic. Okay? But people care too much about what people think. Why? Why? Fuck them people. People always worry so much about what people think. And half these people you won't even know in 5 years. Do you realize that? Look up the span of how long people tend to have friends or associates. Now, you have those lifelongs and shit like that. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? So, if you want to try to pick apart what I'm saying instead of getting the message, now is the time for you to leave. But if you feeling what I'm saying though, stop caring about what people think. If it's that bad to where you're worried that other people are going to think something is wrong with you because you want to go within, you want to heal X, Y, and Z shit, ask them if they want to do it with you. If they don't, that tells you they're not your real friends. They're not lifelongs. They're not going to last. Anything to better yourself, anything that's going to make you a better person, anything that's going to help you to heal, to progress, and to live in your truth should not be turned down. Like, why? Who doesn't want to be better? People who are comfortable and don't want to do these 3 things because they don't want to spend time alone and they don't want to go within and do that inner work, that shadow work, remove those blockages because of fear. So that's something that, you need to say, fuck fear. You need to say, fuck them people, because most people are on trend, which means that they go with what the majority is doing or what the majority perceives as popular or the politically correct way to live. And who told them that? Who do that? You can't tell another man how to live. People live different ways based on, as I said, their environment, their geographical location, and hell, sometimes their culture, sometimes evolution, sometimes weather, nature, natural disasters, X, Y, and Z, right? That's how they live. But it is okay for you to not be on trend. It is okay for you not to go with the majority. It's okay for you to not be politically correct. As long as you are not causing any harm to anybody else, do you? I live in America, which is supposed to be the land of the free. However, so many people are walking around with their minds in chains because they worried about if they do this, if they go walk outside barefoot and ground themselves, if they start wearing crystals, X, Y, and Z, everybody gonna talk about them. People gonna laugh at them. Why the fuck you so worried about what the people think? Let me tell you something. If I'm not sleeping with you, I don't give a damn what you think. Okay? Okay? Period. Period. You can't be politically correct in a time where even the politics is a sham. We know that. We know these politics got the biggest liars and all that shit going on. So why would you want to be politically correct? Live in your truth. All right? Find your true happiness. Heal yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Most of these people that people are worrying about their judgment, if they live in their truth, most of these people, they're not even living in their truth. They don't even know who they really are. Every now and again, I guess bot station wiring tells them, hey, wear this now. Do this now. This is a style. Da-da-da-da-da. That's why we see so many people walking around looking like bots. Everybody's looking like everybody else. Everybody's wearing the same thing. Like they're one mind. They're one mind. It's okay for you to break free. Because if you don't, are you even truly living? Much less living in your truth? Keep that in mind, guys. I feel like I said a lot. My bad. But keep that in mind. Living your truth. Do you. All right? One thing that I know, because I am a strange individual to many. I've been being called weird my whole life. However, I like to think that I'm just unique and eccentric. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. However, I had to learn at a very young age how to live in my truth, okay? From battling suicidal thoughts as a child, from being depressed as a child. I didn't like those feelings. And I decided it was less painful for me to be myself. It made me happy, and it made those around me who are willing to accept something that was different happy as well, and all benefited. Put it into that perspective if that's what you need, because sometimes people are just waiting for that one person to be strong and confident enough to live in their truth so that they can go ahead and drop their facade and live in their truth as well. Be the leader that you wish that you had. Be blessed. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy at Empress Oracle Shop. And have a wonderful day. And think about what I said. I love you all. Be well.